Hi everybody. This is the December Kiwi Club set, chilling with my Nomies. And today, again, I'm going to go a little bit outside of the box and I'm going to work on another mini album. This is a mini album that I created a while back. I've had it in my personal Sandy Scrapbooks Facebook group for a couple of months because I do special tutorials and everything else there on my site. So if you'd like to join us there, you're welcome to. Sandy Scrapbooks at Facebook. This is a file folder. It takes a regular standard file folder and it makes a little mini album. It's a really, really cute one. It's one I've done many, many times, and it comes together kind of fast and quick. You can do it in a day. But the nice thing about it is it's got a lot of room for pictures, and you can do different things and add different embellishments and things with this. You can do pockets. This page right here is really great for a waterfall set of pictures because there's gusseted areas, so it allows for that bulk. Same thing for the sides. So, but, you know, it just gives you a lot of creativity to kind of play and to do different things, which, you know, with Kiwi Lane is kind of fun. But I had this idea for these gnomes, and it came to fruition, which was really cool, about him climbing a ladder and working on the Christmas tree. So to do that, I used a couple of different things. I didn't just use Kiwi Lane in all of this. I have my Sizzix bow die that I've used. This is actually the Creative Memories Railroad Punch that I used for the ladder. And so, you know, just a whole bunch of different things coming together to make the album and everything else. So I will show you too what templates I used and how I did them. Let's get over here, you guys. I'm going to show you on this so you can see them. Okay, so I used the sleigh. Okay, and inside the sleigh, you saw the boxes. And what I did was I used the Christmas bulb ornament here. And then I just created a little fluffy thing on the top for the tag. The new candy piece from the Haunted set would actually work really good if you needed to combine those as a template. And then, so I used those two. On the back page, I used the Christmas tree from the Snap Frame set. Of course, I used the gnomes. Okay. And when I did this one, I added little balls of different colors and everything else to kind of accent a couple different pieces. I saw Susan's, you could do like a belt going across here with a little buckle. I came across some findings that were metal buckles, and I think that would be really cute with ribbon. So I'm going to try that as well. And then the other thing that I did was I used the borders, the card borders. Now, with card borders, they're not like the mini borders. They're actually smaller, so they don't have the full 8.5 inches, which this is at. So all I did was I took the border, I traced it, and then I just moved the border up and then connected it and then finished off the edge. It's easy to do that way. It's not a lot of work or thinking, so that if you want smaller edges, you can even use that on a 12-inch page if you really wanted to, which is kind of cool. And you can't really see it, but I also did the same thing here on that page, and then here again on this one. You can see I just continued that edge. Okay. So that's all I did, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to make the mini album portion of this. And I'm not going to go through the whole entire build because everything else from, your experiences with Kiwi Lane is kind of a little bit redundant, and you guys know what you're doing, right? But I do want to show you how to do the file folder. Again, this is a tutorial that I do lots of things like this on my Facebook group, and you are welcome to come join us there. So, okay, the first thing that I did was I decided which way I wanted my opening here. Now, for me, that opening is up there on the top, like that. So all I did was I put this all the way to the top. I did not justify it on this side because if you do that, you're going to get a little bit wonky. So I justified it to the top edge and to the bottom edge. I scored at 5 3/4 and then 6 1/8. Okay, and then I flip it over, justify it again to the top, and I do the same thing, 5 3/4, 6 1/8. Okay, and what that's going to do is that's going to roughly, depending on the different file folders, it's going to roughly give you 5 3/4 here and then 6 inches here in the middle. Everybody's file folders are different, so this measurement will vary slightly. It doesn't have to be perfect. The main thing that you want is you want that 5 3/4 on the both sides. And I did a little bit over 1/4 of an inch. This is actually 3/8 of an inch of a little gusset. Now, another thing is I do on mine, I do flaps. Now on this one that I did 2 flaps, front and bottom, but usually I only do 1. I actually added this bottom one because I just wanted a little bit more. So what I normally do is wherever I have my top piece here, I will go to 8 1/2 inches and I will go ahead and I will score all the way down. Now with this type of file folder, because this is a top tab, you have to do it that way or you're not going to get that tab in the right spot. Okay, and then just continue down with that line. If you have one of the ones and you're using one of the manila folders that has that tab in the middle, what you can do is you can adjust this line. Instead of going from here to here, you can shift it to where you have about 1 1/2 inches here and 1 1/2 inches here, and that will act as your flap if you want the 2 flaps, and then this would actually go to the middle. Okay, and then what I did was I went ahead, and I know it's hard to see, and I'll mark it on this one for you so you can see it a little bit. Here's my line, and then here's my gusset, here's my gusset, here's my line. Oops, I can't draw, sorry. Here's my gusset, here's my gusset. You want to cut out everything over here and everything over here. So you want to go to the inside gusset and this top line here, and this inside gusset and this top line here. So you want to cut all of this off and all of this off. All right, and my cutting skills are not the best, so bear with me. You want to also cut it to where you are just inside of this score line here, because when you fold it up, you don't want to interfere with this fold here. So you want to cut it just on the inside of that line. Score lines are, you know, roughly like a 32nd of an inch thick, so I find that by doing the outside or inside of the score line, it makes a little bit of a difference. So you just got to kind of pay attention to where you're at with some of that. Okay. And I know you can't see a lot of this because I'm trying to hold it to where I can see the lines. And it's a little cumbersome because it's a file folder. Okay. So, and then what I did was I took this piece, which is the same exact size, maybe a little bit smaller. And one of the pieces is the same. Ah, there it is. Okay. So this piece, it's a little bit bigger. And then I went ahead and I just did that. Trimmed it off. Okay, there. And then I scored again here so that I created a second flap. Okay. So turn that upside down. Here's my flap here. Okay, so there's my flap on the bottom. And then I just took this one and I added this flap to the top. Okay. And another thing that I did was I knew I was going to put a little bit of bulk in here. So on these flaps, I'm going to line it up just a hair here. Okay, so line that up. I went ahead and I put a 1/4 inch gusset on the edge of those flaps. I know this one's not straight because I did it by hand, so there we go. Okay. And then you just fold all your lines, crease them really good. This is a file folder. It's a manila file folder. So even though you do nice, good creases, they'll hold up pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and give myself a little bit of help with this crease. There we go. All right. All right, and there it is. Okay, and then again, like I said, you would take this one, and I would use score tape because score tape will actually hold any kind of hinge or any kind of flap. You always want to use a score tape or a wet glue, but this is just for example purposes. So fold it, not on that first one, but on the second one. Line it up to the inside of that fold, and then just line up that top. And now you have both flaps. Okay, and then all I did when I was doing my designing and covering and everything else, when I covered this flap and this flap, I didn't cover it with a piece and then cover the other backside with a piece because that was a waste of paper. So what I did is I took one sheet of paper, which was this red background sheet that we have in there, and on the back of that background sheet is this white or grayish color. And then in order to not see where I attached it here, I just covered it and then did a half border there. Another thing that you could do in that spot to really hide that is to make that a pocket. Then you also wouldn't see that bottom piece there as well. So lots of different options, lots of different ways you can do that, but it just saves paper and it saves me putting a whole nother sheet on top of the front and back of that. But you need double-sided paper in order to do that. So, and thankfully, Kiwi Lane, we have that. But again, there it is. Oh, I forgot to ink this little area here, but I'll get to that. I hope you like it. And, you know, it's a fun little album to do. It really doesn't take a lot of time, but it's very fun to decorate and to put together and give as a gift. It does make a really, really nice Christmas gift for somebody. I've done Disney albums. I've done Halloween albums. They're very fun to do, and they're quick and they're easy. Oh, before I go, so you can see, a lot of people wonder how to get, if you cover this, how to get this piece there. You can actually do it to where that piece shows, and then you can write something and have a different color between the two. That's really cool. Or you can go ahead and cover it. So if I'm covering it, what I'll do is I'll cover it completely with the paper that I'm using, flip it over, and then I will just justify all the way over to here, get my tops and bottoms straight, and then trace this part, and then I'll cut that. And then when I do that, it'll fit right on top of there. Okay, let me show you real quick. I don't like these 10-hole scissors because they don't make a nice cut, but just so you can see. It's not always going to be perfect because it's really difficult sometimes to do that. Another thing that I have seen too that people have done in my classes is they'll go ahead and they'll glue it down and leave the edge overlapping off the side, and then they'll take an X-Acto knife and then they'll use that X-Acto knife and they'll run it along the edge, which you can do that as well. But if you go ahead and ink the edge here and then ink your edges here, it's going to blend in and you're not going to notice it as much. Okay, just like that. Easy peasy. Okay. So anyways, I hope you like that, and I hope, again, you make lots of these because they really are fun. And once you get going on, you know, decorating it and doing the basics and getting everything else down, it runs really, really fast to do one after the other for multiple gifts. But most of the pictures in here are 3x4, 4x5, and a little bit smaller because I wanted to have a little bit of matting around the edge. And then there's one 4x6. So, okay. Oh, another thing I wanted to show you too. On this one here, this tree, a lot of people ask about it. about how they go to cut the insides and everything else. You don't cut the insides of this tree out. You actually cut pieces from another sheet of paper and then lay them in. Okay, don't try and cut all these individual little things out of this tree. That's obnoxious. Make it easier. Just cut pieces from another set of paper, which is right here, so I can kind of show you. So I cut all the little pieces out, see it right there, and then laid my template over the top, and then just set it inside and glued them down. Alrighty, so that's how you do that one. I hope you enjoyed all this. I know it's not a lot, but it is Christmas time, so I know everybody's busy doing lots of other things and making gifts and everything. So please stop by, finish the hop, follow everybody else's videos, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching.